Hey guys, my name is Aubrey and welcome to the channel. So in today's video, I'm going to be talking about how I automated my Turo business and how you can take these steps to automate and make your Turo business more passive for yourself. So let's get started. So the first thing to acknowledge is the fact that can Turo be a true passive income stream, and can it be 100% automated? And the answer, in my opinion, is no. Because of the fact the cars require maintenance, the cars require photos to be taken between each and every rental, you do have to engage with the guests in some form, whether that be in person or through the messenger. Because of these reasons and more, I do believe that Turo isn't really a 100% passive income stream, and it can never be fully and 100% automated. But just because it can't be automated and it can't be 100% passive doesn't mean that you can't automate those redundant tasks that you have to do over and over and over again. And so in this video, I'm going to be talking about the things that I've done to really make my business as passive as possible, and how these tasks have not only made my life easier, but they've also just made the Turo experience that much more pleasant. So the first step is doing remote key exchanges. So I've been on Turo since 2017, and I have actually never met a guest in person. I have met guests in the middle of trips if there's like an issue with a car, or if for some reason I have to pick up or switch out a guest into a different car. I often will have to meet them in that circumstance, but I have never done a person-to-person key exchange. I do all of my key exchanges remote, meaning that there is a lockbox or some sort of device left at the car that has the key inside. And once the guest follows my specific instructions, they get the code to that lockbox, and that gives them access to the key. I honestly accredit remote key exchanges as to why I've been able to grow Turo and do so well with the Turo platform, because I truly can't imagine running this business by doing in-person key exchanges. I would be revolving my entire life around Turo and when guests pick up keys and when the cars are returned and during extensions and trips that get shortened. I mean, my life would be a hectic mess if I required myself to be at all of the key exchanges and all of the vehicle returns. By doing remote, it allows me to give a key to a renter from anywhere in the United States. I mean, theoretically, I could be in New York, and as long as I took photos of the vehicles beforehand, I could efficiently and effectively do a key exchange. And New York is obviously an extreme example. I mean, I don't travel that much, but I very often do key exchanges from movie theaters or from my house or from my parents' house or while I'm grocery shopping. By doing my key exchanges and all of my rentals remote, it allows for me to have a normal life and to live my life as normal as possible. And it also allows me to have time to pursue other projects like YouTube or like consulting or doing Upwork stuff. It allows me to have a lot of free time. So my first step into automating your Turo business is to do all of your key exchanges, or as many as possible, through the remote key process. If you guys are interested in the requirements that Turo has laid out for people who do remote exchanges, I have included the Turo link in the description below. The second thing that I recommend to automate your Turo business is to have a process when it comes to vehicle check-in and vehicle check-out. And this is probably the least passive part, along with vehicle maintenance, about Turo, is because you physically have to take the photos between every single rental. And me, myself, I am such a proponent to take your own photos and to make sure to take photos every single time you rent out a vehicle in order to protect yourself. So when it comes to taking photos, you can only automate that so much. But just because you can't 100% automate it doesn't mean you can't develop a process to make the vehicle check-in and check-out as smooth as possible. For me, I keep my vehicles in an off-site parking lot that's near my house, and so it's a couple of minutes to drive to and from the parking lot. But whenever I go check in vehicles, I make sure to always bring my backpack. And in that backpack, I have cleaning supplies, I have air fresheners, I have like a handheld vacuum that I use, and that way I can, right in the comfort of my parking lot, I can clean vehicles. I, of course, have my phone to take the photos, and I can evaluate the car really, really easily. If a car gets returned and it has just like minor dirt and it's not that dirty and there's no damage to the vehicle, I can have that car checked in and checked out in about 5 minutes. And of course, if the vehicle is more dirty, if the air pressure is low, if it needs to be vacuumed by a legitimate vacuum cleaner, that of course extends that time to about 15 minutes. But I have gotten my process so dialed in with vehicle check-in that I can get vehicles checked in and out in max 15 minutes, but oftentimes in about 5. So whatever process makes the most sense for you. Maybe that's keeping like a kit in your car with cleaning supplies. Maybe that's buying a battery-powered vacuum. Maybe that's having a external battery for your phone so you never have to worry about your phone dying during the picture taking process. Whatever that process looks like for you, I would make sure to have that process kind of defined and to fine-tune that process. That way you can take vehicle check-ins and check-outs as quickly as possible, because at the end of the day, it shouldn't take you that long to check in and out a vehicle. It should only take 5 minutes if the vehicle is clean and max 15 minutes. I would say if a vehicle is like really disgusting, then it of course takes longer than 15, but that's such a rarity that the average is about 5 to 10. The second, and in my opinion, one of the most game-changing things for me when it comes to automation is automating the messaging process. So for me, I found myself typing out the same messages over and over again to guests, and I didn't really think much of it. But then one day I got so sick of writing messages that I decided to save all of my frequently used messages in the notes folder of my phone. And this may seem like such a common sense thing to do because I'm sure a lot of people have done it, but for me, it took me about 1.5 years to finally take this step for myself, and it's been a pretty big game changer since. So what I did is I have a notes folder in my phone and it's labeled Turo. And in that Turo folder, I have all of the messages that I send to guests. Now, of course, there's messages that I have to physically type out if I'm answering a specific question or if the guest has a concern or whatever the case is. But I have my check-in message in that folder. I have all of my lockbox codes in that folder. I have my return reminder in that folder. I have the message asking for ID photos in that folder, and I have the return instructions in that folder. So all of my messages that I send on a consistent basis are in that folder. So that way, all I have to do is I have to copy it and then paste it into the specific message to the guest. So you guys may look at these 3 tips and think to yourself that these are all super common sense and that I'm just an idiot for not doing these things sooner. But the fact of the matter is these common sense things were things that I didn't really think about at first. And things like remote key exchanges, having your messages typed out and ready to go, and having a process when it comes to checking in and out of vehicles, it can be the difference between having this sort of business model taking up 40 hours of your week to taking only 5 to 10 hours of your week. And at the end of the day, that's why Turo is so valuable for me, because it makes a lot of money and it still allows me to do the things that I want to pursue and that I want to be passionate about and that I want to work on. So if I had to spend 40 to 60 hours a week working on my vehicles and meeting guests and checking in cars, the Turo business model just wouldn't be worth it. But the reason why it's so worth it, for me at least, is because of the fact it only requires about 5 to 10 hours per week of work on my end. And a big reason for that is because of the fact that I do remote key exchanges, because my check-in and checkout process is so efficient, and because I don't spend hours every day typing messages to guests on my cell phone. So if you guys enjoyed this video, then make sure to hit that like button and hit that subscribe button. If you ever forget, there's a sign right there reminding you to do it. And I will see you guys in the next video.